We are here with Tamara Ralph, Creative Director, and Michael Russo, CEO of Ralph and Russo. Congratulations on a beautiful show. Can you tell us a bit about how you made your selection for the V&A event?
Well, we wanted to put a mixture of some of our favourite pieces from the Spring-Summer show as well as the Autumn-Winter show. And we wanted to have some of the iconic pieces that have been quite famous in the press for red carpet and things like that. And we thought it was a beautiful, beautiful flow. So it was a hard choice.
I can imagine. But it's very interesting because you're showing now on the official schedule on the Paris Haute Couture season, and you're a British-based brand. And can you tell us a bit about why you're based in London?
Well, London's really such an epicenter for such a huge mix of international clientele. It's so central to the rest of Europe, and I think what we've found over the last few years is these couture buying clientele are spending more and more time in London, and it's really just got such a diverse cultural mix, and we really enjoy having our base here.
And plus we love London.
But working with couture, I mean, it's a very intensive and dedicated approach to design. And was that something that was it a choice you made, or was it something that you always knew you wanted to specialize in?
No, it was something that we very much knew we wanted to specialize in. It was something that I had been trained in from a very young age. I started when I was about 10 years old, and likewise 4 generations in my family with haute couture. So it was very much in our hearts and something that we knew exactly what we wanted to do. So.
Well, speaking of that, the last dress in the show here, V&A is showing their wedding dress exhibition at the moment, and this spectacular wedding dress, it's amazing. Can you tell us a bit about the design and construction?
We wanted something that was quite mystical, but really romantic and quite grand and dramatic and regal at the same time. So we worked on quite a few embroidery designs and sketches and shapes, and the design process for just that part took a couple of months to perfect it and get it right. And we wanted to have something that was soft but structured at the same time. So there's about 600 meters of silk tulle in the particular gown and about 3,900 hours of hand embroidery. So it's quite a piece, but we love it, and it was a beautiful finale choice. So.
Well, thank you so much, Tamara and Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much.